Jon, obviously news came out that Arizona State's about a 1,000-yard receiver and all that, but obviously with Scadaboo, dynamic quarterback in Levitt, what kind of challenge does that offense pose to you guys?
Yeah, it's a real challenge. I think they're obviously championship caliber team. Tailbacks, all you got to do is watch the film, and he's a really talented guy. Quarterback is excellent, athletic, similar to the guys that we've played these last few weeks, actually probably since Iowa, of seeing a guy that really takes the ball and runs it, few called runs. Athletic back there causes you some issues there. Wideout core, they're physical players. They catch the football. They're just a pretty complete team, Rob. Their offensive line, I think, does a great job in the schemes that they're doing, and there's a reason they're playing in this game. So it's going to take everything that we have, So we're try to get our guys ready to go here.
What do you feel, maybe as a staff, maybe as a program, you guys learned from the last time playing for a Big 12 title?
Yeah, I felt like a little bit the last time, and this is an opinion. This isn't what everybody thinks. This is me. You asked me the question. I feel like we were, I think at that point in time it was COVID. It was kind of a crazy season. And I think our guys were just, it was the first time, and, it's a big game. And I felt like we were in the game and maybe didn't play our best or get ready to play our best. And so I think, I've tried to share some of the scars that we had from that game of getting prepared to play a game, the caliber of people that you're going to play. The environment will probably be twice what it was last time, and it still was loud in there. It's in an indoor facility. So, you just try to relate to them some of the stuff you feel like happened, and that may be true or not true, but just try to get them to understand that, the preparation has to be at a championship level, the focus has to be at championship level, and you're going to have to play at a championship level. And, I think it still is going to come down to physical and fundamentals and tackling and, reading keys, and, the game still does do that. And I don't think early on when we went in 2020, I think it all went so fast, I don't think we really knew, I can speak for our side of the ball, what was going on. And then once we caught up and got into it, then we got ourselves back in it a little bit. But you're not going to be able to do that against this crew. They're too talented.
Jon, the defense was in a little bit of a precarious spot after Kansas with injuries, a lot of new faces on the field. Just what have you seen from that unit in terms of growth over the past couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think we've gone through, the injury thing all season long. I give a lot of credit to our guys that are out there fighting, and a lot of them are out there playing injured. We're still a little bit that way, but our guys have never used that as an excuse. Our guys have prepared, and it's always been the next guy up, and the guys that are playing got to play better, and we've tried to do that. It is a little bit different from a communication standpoint when you're dealing with new people all the time, and I think at times it has caught us. But I think they've grown and continue to work at it, work really hard at it. We've tried to, I know the coaching staff has a lot of walkthroughs together, and, just the whole group working together, because some of it is different guys and pieces are in there all the time. So they've grown a lot. Really proud of them. There's been no excuse whatsoever, regardless who's out, not playing, has not rattled them one bit. So I give them a lot of credit for that.
Peyton kind of asked what I was going to ask about the new guys, the next man in mentality. I guess just to follow up on that, what kind of accounts for the ability for the next guy to go in and maybe not instantly make an impact, but soon learn it? And like Jon Tez was just telling me that he wasn't all that surprised even when it's like a freshman, a redshirt freshman, or a walk-on coming in and doing it.
Yeah, I think, and I think it's probably true in everything. I think the standards within the facility and, within the units and within a business, within an organization, what are the standards? And if everybody's trying to live to that standard, then, you're not getting yourself ready to play. You are ready to play. And, I think that's what our guys have been able to do. I think they've done a great job of, holding the standard. And, some of them have had less experience holding that standard, but I don't think anybody's let it slip. And, I think our older guys are credit to that. And then I think the young guys, we've had good leadership at times throughout, and even my career, great leadership. But you got to have people that want to follow too. Like you got to want to have people that want to believe what those guys are doing, and I think we've been blessed to have that, and I think they've kept the standard.
Going back to Scatteraboo, when you start digging into the film, is there anything that you've seen from teams like Kansas State, Cincinnati that have been able to slow him down that you want to look at?
Yeah, Mississippi State runs our style of defense. They rushed for 300 yards against them. I think close to 200 against, Cincinnati, and a little bit the same maybe against Kansas State. But I think it's the who. I don't ever think, necessarily scheme offensively or defense. I think he's a tremendous player. We played these guys, the coordinator at UNLV. We've watched that video. That was the first one we watched. So we've gone through all the history of kind of where we were, who they were, and then watched the games that are similar to us. And then you always break down. We broke down the whole season. So we've watched every clip as best we could, and you try to just put a plan that fits our guys, because it's really still about, what can our guys do, and we can't get it caught up in, man, so-and-so did this, or Kansas State did this, or KU did that, Cincinnati. They all had good ideas, and we have to do what we can do, and we'll use all of those things for reference for sure.
And kind of going off of that with focusing on your guys, there have been times where you've struggled against other really talented backs.
Right.
Are there areas of growth that make you feel more confident in this team's ability now to take him on?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've kind of gathered a little bit. I think the last few weeks, we've let a couple plays get out the gate on us, but I think for the most part in the run game itself, I think our guys have improved. I think we've kind of figured out what we can or can't do, and we'll have to do some different things against this group. They are different. The running back is a different human being, and we're going to have to do some different things that will hopefully allow us to have some success. And again, it's still going to come down to how hard we play and how well we play, and I think that still is the most important thing.
Coach, some of the players talked about how after the loss to Ohio a year ago, there was maybe a minor change in the program's process, its approach to games, its attention to detail. Can you remember back to any of the staff meetings that you guys had about finding new ways to be successful within the overall structure of what you wanted to do heading into Big 12 play a year ago?
I think it was a pivotal game because I think everybody had to check themselves. I think players, coaches, I think this whole floor had to check themselves a little bit, and that was a good football team. I think you found out that team was pretty good. That quarterback was really good. So we played a good team, and I think the reality of it is, and I think it's been a process of 9 years since, I've been here, of learning how to handle all of this. There's a lot of firsts here, and, our guys have, there's no roadmap to do it, and I think our guys have just grown. I think we as a staff, Coach Campbell, and I think he's worked really hard from the leadership standpoint of how do we get everybody to understand exactly, what's at stake every Saturday. And when you have a little bit of success, people are kind of hunting you. They want what you have, and I think sometimes whether we were prepared for that or not, I think our guys grew from that, from that standpoint of, man, you're in a situation now where we're being hunted a little bit. People were paying attention to what we're doing and to our team, and so I think it was a great growth for all of us, and I think players and coaches alike. I think it comes down to mindset of understanding, man, what are they thinking, and then what are we going to have to think to counter what they're thinking, and I think that's as simple as I can put it.
To follow up, what's the importance of believing in what you think and believing in, I guess, your overall process of how to prepare a team for Saturday and not changing that depending on how big Saturday's game could be, no matter the opponent?
Yeah, it's I think that's the standards thing that I talked about earlier. I think our guys, have been practicing with standards since, I think, probably since last January. And I think you have to just hold the standards. It's still it's not really complicated. Now there are a lot of things that you're interpreting that lead to, man, all the hoopla and all the things going on, and we're going to play at a different building and play at the Cowboy, all that stuff. And I think it still comes back to the standards of how our guys prepare. And I think our veteranship, I think our leadership has you know, as we would say, has held the standard. And I think those things, the way you prepare, the amount of time that you're in here watching film and preparing for the game, that allows you to have some confidence when you go to the game. And you're just looking for a chance. I mean, you know, every Saturday you want to give yourself the best chance you can, and the standards of practice and meeting time and all the things that you're doing, eating right, sleeping right, getting ready for this game, you know, and not letting the noise outside of the building affect you. And I think it's a great challenge for young people today. It's a great challenge for guys that are 64 years old. You know, stay focused on the task. You know, be present in the moment, enjoy that moment. We don't get dress rehearsals, you know, and this is kind of our football life. So we got to get ready to roll.
Jon, the unique nature of waiting on another game to know whether you guys were going, what is your post-game process like? Were you able to watch the BYU game at all, or what was that all? How did it all go down for you?
Yeah, a couple of people have asked, but yeah, I was mentally exhausted from the game and cold. So I came in, and I think probably like most of the coaches, we got our computers loaded up to grade the film, because that's the process. Got home, and you know, the game was on at my house, and I was kind of listening to it, but I think I was drained. So I was, you know, rooting for the mindset of our players, that they would have the opportunity and our university would have the opportunity and our team. But to say that I was like living on every play, I probably was not. I was spent from the game. So, but was obviously glad of the outcome and stayed up for that. But I was just really hoping that our kids would get a chance to continue to try to tell their story. And they certainly have worked hard to do that, and I'm sure glad they get a chance to still have the pen in their hand.
Getting real big picture here, dating back to last summer with how much this program has been through, what does it mean to you to be back in this position, going to Arlington to win a Big 12 championship?
A lot. I mean, it's a lot. I mean, there's been a lot of hard work around here. I've been here this whole time, and really taken us 9 years to get to this point where you feel like, man, we're, you know, to win 10 games, to, you know, all those things we've been trying to do since we got here. And it's always been a process. It's always been standard, you know, and, you know, sometimes man, it can't be that simple. Well, it really is that simple, but it's really hard to do. And so I'm thankful and grateful. I'm thankful and grateful for the opportunity that Coach has given me to stay here through these 9 years. And I've had opportunities to not be here, and I'm thankful and grateful that I am. I'm thankful and grateful for our seniors that, you know, since January have been incredible. And I'm thankful and grateful for the staff that's worked really hard, all the coaches that have been here for 9 years to get us to this point again. And, you know, even though they aren't here right now maybe, but those guys have worked really hard to push this whole thing forward. So it means a lot to me. It means a lot to me probably more so because I care about these kids so much. Like everything, like, you know, drive in here this morning at 4:30, and I'm here because of Bo Freeler, and, you know, it has nothing to do with me. I just want those guys to have the best chance of success that they can have. And that's all you ever ask for. There's no guarantees in this deal. You know, you can work really hard. We all want something we can't have sometimes. But our kids have worked tremendously hard, and it means a lot to me to, again, for them. Like I really want them to have some success in this whole thing, and I'm really proud of them, and that's all I'm working for.